Can you hear some children's noise in the background? No, okay. Then it's filtered out. So it's only me who has to handle it. Finding the silence in the noise. So we are coming to the end of the text. And there's verse 35 and 36. And both of them is about paying attention, being aware. Present moment awareness. And then verse 37 is dedication. So I would like to start with a meditation similar like yesterday. The exploration of being present, being aware. What do you bring with you into this moment? How do you feel? So that's something you can do without any effort and immediately. So just pay a bit more attention to your inner life, to the energy of your body. And we are paying attention, or we are aware with the most kindness, with the most gentleness we are able to connect with. As if your inner life is a child, a cat, an animal, something you naturally feel warmth towards. So we are exploring our capacity to mingle spaciousness and energy, spaciousness and emotional energy, physical energy, the sensations in your body, mingling space with the content of our experience by letting everything be as it is, just touching it, holding it, touching it softly, holding it gently, welcoming, like greeting our inner life, greeting the different parts which might come up during the meditation. And then not doing anything. So there's no other technique or other antidote. We put our money onto loving awareness. And in the beginning of our meditation, we will connect with loving awareness, or the loving gaze, by entering a sacred space where we might symbolize the loving gaze, loving kindness, joy, through whatever works for you. Yeah. So let's take our seat, adjusting your posture, and maybe at one point your eyes want to close. Maybe you prefer to sit with open eyes, the gaze relaxed. And you allow your awareness, your attention to slide into the body, to drop into the body, into the field of the body. and you are supported by the breath. So the breath is not the primary meditation object, but it's a sense of breathing with or breathing into the felt sense of your body. What do you feel? So initially, probably you start to notice physical sensations, some of them pleasant, maybe some of them a bit more difficult or tense. So welcoming the guests in the guest house of your body. Or another poem, arriving at your own door and greeting yourself as a friend. So that is so important that in the beginning of any formal meditation practice that we take these few minutes to just arrive and feel who we are right now, what we bring with us, before we do any other stuff. Just this precious moment of noticing something which we sometimes oversee, and that's the miracle and the mystery of just being alive, of just being aware, of just being here. I'm breathing, I'm alive. I hear. I can see. I have feelings. I'm alive. It's a sense of dropping or sliding away from the head into the trunk of your body, also the legs, the feet, arms and hands, and the head. And within that, the breath flows naturally. This also gives you the opportunity to take the radio station of the narrative self somewhat lighter. It's not so important in the dialogue and the images. There's space for them, but see what happens if you lovingly ignore. And instead you emphasize the spacious aliveness in your body. As if you're touching something very, 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 very precious. Aliveness. Energy. And if something, a sensation in your body, a feeling wants to come to the foreground, you allow that to happen. So now I like to invite you to more consciously step into the sacred space of our meeting. And this is like opening a door to a temple, to a gompa. And we are stepping into this sacred space together as a Sangha. And in that sacred space, you are surrounded by symbols of awakening. And this could be His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or the Buddha, or Tara, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Jesus. All your mentors, Buddhists and non-Buddhists. Your angels. So you feel the loving gaze with your whole body, from the toes to the top of your head. And maybe you have been in sacred spaces, or you have met teachers like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So your body knows how it feels to feel safe. Mine really safe, infinitely whole, and eternally loved. So it's a much deeper safety than you can get through money or possession. And just notice what happens through these images and my words. You don't need to do anything. Don't need to manufacture anything. Just softening and opening. Bringing yourself along into the sacred space.
So that long silence is because we've lost Stephan. Sorry. Sheila, do you know how to reach him?
I can check. Let me see if I have
Yeah, I don't
a
have
contact for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was my computer, so I just logged off and logged back on.
I thought we were just, it was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Then I did. Yeah. Okay, so we'll wait. He might just.
Yeah, he may figure it out too.
He might just come back in.
It was perfect. It was a perfect segue into this perfect sacred space.
Yeah.
It was lovely. It was lovely. Yes,
Yeah.
it's nice.
I don't have a phone number for him. I just have his email.
Okay. Do you want to? Can you just shoot that? He might be.
Yeah.
Unless his whole network has.
Okay.
Maybe he's off watching soccer.
This is all part of the practice.
It's part of the practice, yeah. And yeah, I'll just be quiet till he comes back.
I'm back, yes.
Oh,
you're back. Hi. We were appreciating, being afloat.
Yeah, that's good. So how do you feel? Yeah. Someone switched out the internet. That's why I got thrown out. Yes. So the sacred space and your inner life as it is. And every drop of kindness, every kind gesture, or every welcoming gesture you extend to what is arising for you is also a gift for this group. Because we are connected with each other. So if you can slide deeper, I guess if you are in a shoreless ocean, there's the waves, the thoughts, feelings, and sensations, and you sink deeper. So letting go of grasping. Whatever you meet, whatever arises, you allow that. You give space. Sinking through, sliding through. Deep can you sink into the groundlessness of this moment, groundlessness of your own awareness. You have a sense of the vastness of your own presence. Let go of everything you know. But try to have a sense of spaciousness within which the energies, sensations in your body and your feelings can play out, can just be without any condition, without any agenda. You're in a sacred space, surrounded by light, surrounded by sometimes sensing that vastness, that groundlessness, letting go into it a little, can be a bit scary. Just giving space to that as well. Now, what do you feel?
Jeg tænker, at det var måske, hvis der kom med gæster, eller sådan noget. Nå, ja, det er sådan noget. Nå, det er bare sådan noget.
So we are practicing being aware, being present, without doing anything.
Jeg tror, jeg tager den taxa igen, og var stille og var 12 weekendbrød over. Men det gør, at vi går.
Without doing any stories,
Ja, det passer også.
without doing anything, trying to find solutions. Trust the healing power, the ultimate medicine, of loving awareness, of non-judgmental awareness. That's nectar we drink. Holding soft will, experiencing everything as energy.
Når du ikke helt fri der, det har du mulighed. Det tror jeg.
You where we love you, give. You give to all. And maybe there's something right now in your awareness, in your experience, which is calling for that love. It's calling for being acknowledged and seen and welcomed. This too. So nothing is excluded. Also recognize these thoughts. So past exists only in thoughts, future exists only in thoughts. But what is here? In present moment awareness. That's all you need to love. Loving whatever arises. And rest. It's a bit like dying. Not knowing.
Ja, hej. Jeg vil gerne bestille en vogn til Stellervej nummer 12 i Hvidovre. Rødovre. Ja, Rødovre. Rosemarie. Det er godt, hvor lang tid var det? Cirka 5 minutter. Og jeg får en sms, hvor jeg
We have a sense of what Immature calls groundlessness.
5-10 minutter, det er jo ikke så længe.
An inner stillness, an inner peace. So you step, you fall into that. And at the same time, you become more intimate with the content of your experience. You love more from spaciousness.
Men altså, når man nu har skudt 2 gange på den ene måde. Ja. Det var også for meget. Ja, der er sådan spist et par tider, og
Slide out of the meditation. Maybe start by moving your body, changing your position. And at one point, open your eyes. Let's see if you can stay connected with that alive presence, spacious aliveness in your body.
Hej. Høje. Skal vi sige noget på den? Tak. Ja, det er glad for, at det var så
So I think today I mainly want to encourage myself and you to explore loving awareness as one of the main medicines for ourselves and for the world. And Thomas Sampo writes in verse 36, in short, in everything you do, question how your mind is moment by moment. In short, everything you do, question how your mind is moment by moment. And mind here, the Sanskrit chitta includes the heart. So mind here is not just thoughts. So it's everything which is arising within awareness, sensations, feelings, sounds. So in short, everything you do. Question how your mind is. And an important question here is how I started also yesterday, just the question, how do I feel? How do I feel? Being constantly present and aware. I don't know if this constantly stresses you a little. So to be constantly present and aware is not the practice, it's the result. Yeah, so we had that also yesterday. So if you would try to be constantly present and aware, you would like exhaust yourself very quickly. No, there would be like a pressure. It would be more like concentration, and you know, we all know how tiring concentration is. So it's not concentration. So how can we? So what would be contributing factors so that a constant awareness and presence arises naturally and effortlessly? So if we have understood that this way of concentrating in meditation does not really work, it's frustrating. It can be almost aggressive, almost violent, that kind of concentration. So it's so if we think about constant presence and awareness as like a flower which we need to fertilize, so as something which grows naturally, it's our natural state actually. There's a natural capacity, effortless capacity, which is present and aware effortlessly right now. So what is it? What makes you kind of like this kind of waking up and being really like present, being aware, noticing what is happening? So what is that? How can we how can we nurture that? How can we fall in love with life unfolding in any moment? How can we nurture that curiosity? like a childlike curiosity. Also observing where in your life do these moments of presence just arise. So could you imagine to fall in love with yourself in the same way you could fall in love with another person, and you really want to pay attention to that person, you want to be present, not because you should, or not because you get something out of it. It's just the most natural and joyful thing. So when you read verses like that and you feel like, oh, this is too much, I feel pressured by that, so then that's definitely not what any of this verse wants to do, to make our life more burdensome. It's a text which is supposed to make us travel lighter. So can you feel so if I would say, for my heart, I wish to be constantly present and aware. Why? I mean, I guess we need to even change it to something. I want to be, for my heart, I wish I will be more present and aware. Yeah. I mean, constantly present and aware, then other people would call us Buddha. Yeah. So how can we allow an invitation like this into our life without feeling pressured by it, but as something beautiful and as something we long for, and something where we also bring the kindness and the patience with us to fail constantly without feeling bad about ourselves. Something which we can allow, we allow it naturally to grow within us, like a precious flower. And Tongme Sangpo says in this verse, by being constantly present and aware, you bring about what helps others. You bring about what helps others. This is a bit like when we talked yesterday about right speech. Yeah. Where it was not about planning what to say and how to say it, but it was about pausing, connecting with your inner life as it is, and then to talk from the body. Yesterday someone said to talk from the body, yeah? And maybe you can get a sense of what that means. Maybe you notice, you can feel the difference in yourself when you talk too much from the head, from planning and arguing and wanting to be right, or talking from your body, talking from your heart, talking from a stillness, from a spaciousness. If you are into movement, maybe you know that the difference of moving the body in a very controlled way or giving space to the body to find movements. Yeah. So Tongme Sampo points to the possibility that through the practice of presence and awareness, giving space, allowing, letting things play out, neither ignoring it nor acting it out, also not suppressing it, but to give it an inner expression, an inner space, reactive patterns, anxiety, whatever. And then to pause in that. Coming back to the body. And then responding to that, to the situation or to the person or to an inner condition from that space. Not being pushed by our reactivity. I need to have a short break because the toilet was occupied. So just 5 minutes, yeah? If you have some questions, just keep them. We have some space then. Okay. Are others hearing the sacred voices? What was that? The sacred voices? Pat?
Yes, yes, I think Elizabeth posted, yes, the voices in your space.
Yeah. Was it a children's voice?
Children and some adults,
Yeah.
one adult.
Yes. They are gone now, so. Yeah, is there any question, comment about the meditation or what I said? Yes, Lori.
So I was reading about in verse 36 about how we don't make really our own decisions, or that we think we're thinking through decisions, but it's really emotional reactions to patterns.
Mm.
So I'm in the process of a pretty big life change decision. Any ideas about how to work through that and not be rationalizing emotional patterns, but actually evaluating in the context of my life change, and not just like knee-jerk reaction.
Have you already made the decision, or the struggle is right now what to decide?
Yeah, I'm basically contemplating moving to a whole different city, a whole different environment.
Yes.
And I have a plan in place to go experience the place and spend time there and all that stuff. But it's basically going from a small town to a city, and really trying to decide if that is moving to the city or escaping my small town. I'd rather move to than escape from.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah. So the idea here in these two verses is, as Ken McLeod says, we learn to sit in the mess and feeling everything, and waiting until there's some space, we meet some spaciousness or some calmness. And to wait. If there's, usually when we are in a situation where we don't know what is the next step and we feel stuck, usually what we can identify is that there's different parts in us. Like there's one part who says, wow, it's wonderful, go there, and so on. And then there's another part who is maybe afraid or thinks it's a stupid thing to leave. So as a practice of being with your inner life, I think it's helpful to really deeply connect with each of the parts, not at the same time, but like to just feel that part which is afraid, and allowing it to be, and allowing it to be afraid, and giving it a voice and let it speak. And you could even do it into a bit of an exercise where you put 2-3 chairs into the room, and you sit on the chair of the part who wants to stay, and then you give really space, unedited. How does it feel, this part? And then you go into the other chair and you feel the part who is curious and wants to know and has a feeling it's time to make a shift in your life. Yeah? And then there's a third chair there, and that is just that in you which is observing these two parts. Yeah, so like a kind grandmother who's looking at two children, the one who wants to stay and the one who wants to go. Yeah. And connecting with that. But also entering that kind of inner work, not with the idea, oh, I need to come to a solution now, but to just trust the feeling through and giving voices. And then by stepping back from that, some knowledge, some intuition might arise, yeah? Where you connect with something deeper.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
So that is a bit an elaboration of Ken MacLeod's practice, which he calls just sit in the whole mess, feel all feelings.
Right.
And give space, give enough space to that, and then of course one of the biggest challenge in making decisions is there is nobody there who could make this decision except the one we make up. Yeah. Any decision which arises, of course, it's wholesome when this decision arises from some deeper intelligence in us, some love, like so. But even that is not your decision. It's something which happens through you.
Through you. Not to you, through you.
Yeah, through you. It kind of, it moves through you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we kind of have the wish maybe to be guided by life, to be guided by the innate wisdom and love, to be guided by bodhicitta instead of being guided by the ego.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, Philip?
Stephan, thanks for all of your teaching.
You're welcome.
Over these 2 years, I was thinking back to when we began. Someone had said something like, I really want to feel this in my heart and soul. I mean, those are my words. Maybe she said, I really want to have a direct experience of emptiness, if even just for a moment.
Yes.
And something else, I just really wanted to know this. And your response was, I will teach for as long as it takes. And here we are 2 years later. So thank you for all of that. But directly to this. So you're living in the mess, right? And you're trying to experience the experience and trying to strip away your ego and all of that personal idiosyncratic stuff. My question is, when you get to the very bottom, that energy that's there, is that a universal kind of energy? Is what's in like joy and sorrow, if I strip away the story, the underlying energy, is that the same? Or love and hate, or passion and aggression? If you take me out of it, so there's just the energy left at the bottom. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I see that question as something which is not answerable on the level of thoughts. It's a very good question, which I sometimes ask myself, or also I ask when I guide a group meditation, particularly when we're sitting in one room and there's a sense that the whole group connects with the primordial stillness or something, the deeper reality. And then I ask the question, what is your experience? What does your heart say, or how is your experience right now? Do you feel that we are connecting within the same space? Are we looking at the same thing? Yeah. And yeah, and then I'm quiet. I don't know, but and philosophically within Buddhism, there's different answers to that question. So you can assume like a philosophical view on this, like, you know, some people say each stream of consciousness is separate from each other, and some people more say, yeah, there's like one consciousness pervading everything, and we are part of that. But for me, it's more interesting, what is the experience for me? And the experience is undescribable, ungraspable. To say it's my personal consciousness, or it's something which we all share with each other, that's too, that does not really express the experience of the primordial mind. Personally, I tend very much to some kind of universal consciousness. It's also like when I talk with you now, and I connect with presence, with spaciousness, and then I extend my heart to you. I can't say where you start or where you begin, or where I start or you begin. We can connect from heart to heart in a kind of timeless, infinite space somehow. There could be even a bit of an experience that which is looking through my heart and through my eyes is the same which is looking through your eyes and is feeling through your heart. And that's a direct experience. And if someone would really kind of logically prove to me that that is not possible, I wouldn't care, because this is beyond philosophy, beyond words. Nobody can convince me differently. On the other hand, of course, we have to acknowledge that there is a difference between me and you. So there is also, you know, it's a bit like the waves in the ocean. Like I'm a wave and you are a wave. We have our individuality and our experiences, but there is that we are both water in the shoreless ocean of life. And that water I could call consciousness, but even that is too much of a concept. It's an idea. It can be called consciousness. It can be called primordial mind, or the Dharmakaya, or but all these words, they are so tiny compared to what they point to. And since we talked a few times now the last 2 years, I acknowledge that you have a direct experience of what I'm talking about, what I'm pointing to. I feel that. So that's.
Thank you.
Yes. Or better said, I know that you don't know what we are talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, if we would know what we are talking about, then we wouldn't talk about this. So we can only talk about this because we don't know what we are talking about. It's such a relief. We are talking, the whole Tibetan tradition talks about something which is not talkable, which is not speakable. Yes, Emma, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you. I'm not sure if this is completely coherent yet, but I'm just wondering about the moment in formal practice mostly, I think, when in inviting and sort of allowing whatever is arising, the experience of resistance, which in my own experience, would usually label as some sort of fear or anxiety or worry about what is arising, and how to discern in that moment. It's kind of like a parenting question, I would imagine, like when to push that and when to just say, it's okay, honey, you're going to be okay. Everything will be all right. And when to say, okay, I know that you're worried and we're still going to try to sort of go forward with whatever brought that up, sort of whatever kind of meditation or practice.
It's trial and error. Both make sense. My abandoned parts, let's call it the little boy who had to freeze inside to survive. So my experience with my abandoned parts is as soon as I'm pushy, was someone else is guiding me, and I feel, even if that person is very gentle and kind, but if I feel pushed by a question, that part in me, then it freezes. So for me, it's really about acknowledging, saying hello, you are okay, I'm here to listen to you. Do you hear me? So it's like, because as soon as I do a little bit too much, boom, and then I disconnect. Then there's just contraction. So that's how I approach also any kind of resistance I might feel, any kind of tension I meet in my meditation, in my body. My wish is to meet it like that, just with a curiosity, just with no agenda, not wanting to control it, just wanting to, and signaling that I want to have a good dialogue. I'm curious.
It sounds like also having some patience to not just push past it, try to push past it.
It's a lot of patience, and still, even if there is something sabotaging an experience of relaxation or deep connection, or sometimes it's possible to put it aside a bit, like not abandoning it, but like, no, some of the parts, they are just so happy initially that they are seen and that you start to have a relation. So they are kind of, they sometimes then are okay. They kind of can step back and say, yeah, I know we have to continue our conversation and our healing, but now I step a bit away, so I give you some space to go deeper into that which is beyond. Yeah. So it would be really sad or frustrating if we could have experiences of the inner vastness and the inner peace only when everything is healed. Yeah, but we can the experience of the inner natural peace can happen in a really kind of really dysfunctional psyche. Yeah. And the good thing then is that you can bring the knowing that there is something already healed in me, something which was never touched by this, so you bring that into the healing process. So you bring the inner stillness or the inner presence, you bring that into the healing practice, into the meeting. So we can definitely have genuine awakening experience while we would still need some more years to do some inner healing work. And it's a good place to have to be in, to really not only read about Buddha nature and the primordial mind, but to start to have a bit of a direct experience, a taste of that. And then with that with that kind of love, turn towards that which is abandoned or hurt or wounded.
Thank you.
What is always good aware of, what is really good to be aware of, I've mentioned that before, is we have a lot of habits, a lot of processes which came into our being at a young age, which try to protect us from feelings. So we have a strong instinct within us to avoid our inner life, not to feel. And it's possible that sometimes in our spiritual practice, no matter what we do, we actually use the spiritual practice as a way not to feel, as a way to tense against feelings, tense against our experience. That could be a breathing meditation. I mean, a breathing meditation to stabilize the mind is a very good thing, but it has no healing capacity at all. You can be the best breathing meditator in the world, and some people are, and nothing happens in the inner life. They don't touch their reactivity. They don't touch the patterns. So as soon as they come out of the retreat, back into their relationships, they notice, wow, I have the same social anxiety. I have the same stuff going on as before. I can sit down now in the evening and to concentrate on the breath, and then for a while all this is gone, but no changes happens. A lot of people have that experience for a few years. They go into retreat and it's so great, and they come into some peace, and then they go home, and within a day, boom, it's gone. So there could be a bit of a sign that we're using mantra or prayer or some visualization or whatever tool, whatever spiritual tool, as a way not to feel our feelings, as a way to escape to be a human being with feelings. And I have talked about that since many years. I have been aware of that, and I'm still doing it. It's amazing. Yes, so then it's first 37. 37, we actually got there. There's two or three verses after that, but that's just Tome Sangpo kind of wrapping it up. So this is, and it's about dedication. Yeah. And a good way to start the practice of dedication is to appreciate the goodness of this moment, being together. And appreciating that we are in the sacred space of this text, which Thomas Sangpo wrote in the 13th century, and it has been handed down and being practiced. And now it's here with us in this text. And we can also, some of you have on and off, but participated in a lot of the weekends the last 2 years. And I really, really appreciate your group and all of you, because you are so willing to share and ask good questions, like personal questions. I really like this exploration with you. So that's part of that joy about our meetings. Yeah? So if you connect a bit with, what did you receive from these meetings, and and the connection, the Sangha, is so important, even if we are so physically so far apart, but such a precious connection with people having similar questions, having similar longings. Being together with questions with people who are interested in the same, yeah, like in waking up, in healing, and it's amazing that we have the opportunity to do that together. You wanted to say something, Laurie?
Yes, hi, thank you.
Hi.
I just I wanted to just express my gratitude to you for doing this, and to the Shanti Deva Center for, hosting it and everything.
Yes.
I was feeling, the pandemic, I was feeling very lost. And to have a connection to a Sangha has been a lifesaver, and over the last 2 years, and truly it's the only thing I'm grateful to the pandemic for, having found both you and the Shanti Deva Center. It's the only good thing that's come out of it. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Are you in New York?
I'm close. I'm in New Jersey, just across the river. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So then we take that also. That's thank you. Yeah. From Laurie, and your thank yous. Yeah? So also to the Shantideva Center, and with that to Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and that with that to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Yes. I think Marga wrote about the experience of awareness, how we are one and the same type of water. And I think you are not the only one who felt this in this group. And then Tongme Sangpo says, direct all the goodness generated by these efforts to awakening. Yeah. Direct the goodness. Direct all the goodness. Direct all the goodness generated by these efforts to awaken. To awaken. To each other, to ourselves, to everyone.
And
yes.
So I would say, please come back. Please come back. Please come back. But you are coming back.
Yes.
So, yay.
Yes, we planned to continue the monthly meetings. I don't know, maybe it starts in January, end of January, and we will use a book by His Holiness the Dalai Lama which is called How to See Yourself as You Are. Because I mean, that was kind of a spontaneous idea from my side. And you probably all have heard teachings on emptiness and selflessness and that. And I would like to spend a year just, or something, maybe longer, I don't know, just exploring the wisdom part. How do I exist? How am I not existing, and how do I exist? And to use the reflections and the guided meditations also from that book. It's translated by Jeffrey Hopkins. So it's a good book to work with this, and I will draw on other sources as well. So my intention is that everyone who is attending that course in the end has a really deep experience of no self. And if not, then you get your money back. It's time for us to travel more light through our life. Yeah? Lighter, to travel lighter. And not so compact as the mini-me. And that's definitely possible. I mean, even starting to have a conceptual understanding that there's no solid separate I somewhere here in this system makes things already a bit more transparent, a bit more flexible. The problem is not that you have problems. The problem is the I. That's, the root of all problems is the I. The confused identification with something which does not exist, which is not findable. And it's actually not such a big deal to have a bit of experience of that. Yeah, and then I guess I will come to New York end of March for a week, and there will be a weekend and two teachings in the Shantideva Center, and also I have capacity to talk with a few people. So if you would want to have a conversation with me, so that would be also possible. And I don't know, Pat, are you organizing that or no?
No, it's Sheila.
Sheila, right. Sheila takes care of all of
Sheila
that.
does all.
Yeah.
the-
Okay.
No, I don't. But no, Jennifer and I are organizing that, and
Yeah.
there'll be more information in the coming year, but it's confirmed.
It's
And
confirmed.
yes, Stephan is coming.
Yeah, and
Yay.
the retreat place is outside of the city, New York, or?
Yes, it's about 2 hours north of the city. There's, I think,
Okay.
a train or a bus you can take, and then you Uber to the center.
Yeah.
But it's very beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What's the name of the place?
It's called Stony Point Center.
Okay.
Stony Point, and it's north of the city. It's up in Westchester,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The end of March, everybody, mark your calendars.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is it the weekend? Is it also online?
I don't know if the weekend will be online.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have the exact dates yet?
Okay. So the retreat is on the 24th, 25th, and 26th that weekend. And the week before, on Tuesday and Thursday, we'll have a class in the at Shantideva in the center, which will be hybrid, so that will also be online.
Yeah.
And then we're going to arrange some private time for Stephan to talk to people.
Yes.
All coming in the new year.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, thank you so much from my heart. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephan, from all of our hearts, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's really been wonderful. It's really been a wonderful series. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I see you next year. And yeah, happy Christmas. Bye.